Here's the unfortunate truth about Africa.
If your intent was to stop Africa from becoming a superpower, you wouldn't have to invent a new strategy. Because the blueprint has already been written, tested, and perfected over hundreds of years. One would begin by making sure that Africa never unites. The easiest way to do this is by keeping Africans divided along ethnic, tribal, and religious lines. If Africans ever start working together, you must remind them of their past grievances with each other, stoke old wounds, fund separatist movements, keep border disputes unresolved, and make sure that every time they take one step forward, they take 2 steps back because they're too busy fighting amongst each other.
You'd begin by installing leaders who serve other foreign leaders, not their own people. You would find the most corrupt, the most easily manipulated, and the ones who crave status more than progress. Then you would offer them power in exchange for loyalty. If a leader rises who actually cares about Africa and her people, get rid of them, assassinate them if necessary. But if that's too messy, just destabilize their government or back a coup. If they begin to talk about nationalizing their resources, then you make an example out of them. If they try to unite Africa, take them out before the idea spreads. This is how you'd keep Africa weak, by making sure that it never industrializes.
Keep Africa always exporting her raw materials, but never allow them to process them themselves. Maintain control of the mines, the oil fields. See, the goal is to keep Africa selling their resources for cheap and keep the people buying expensive. If a country tries to break free and build its own industries, sabotage it, place harsh sanctions on them, destabilize its currency, fund local opposition parties, crash its economy, and if that doesn't work, orchestrate a civil war. People can't build when they're too busy trying to simply survive. In addition to all that has been mentioned, you'd make sure that its educational system produces workers, not innovators. Most importantly, you would teach them a history that glorifies their oppressors. Make them think that their cultures are primitive and that their ancestors were savages and that their future depends on foreign approval.
In terms of education, train them to only memorize, not to think critically. Keep Africa's best and brightest always looking overseas for opportunities. Always keep them dreaming of escaping Africa rather than fixing it. Offer academic scholarships that take their top minds to the West and never encourage them to return. Let the continent continue to train doctors and engineers only to have them enrich Western nations. This is how you control Africa's narrative. Own their media. Control their stories and dictate their image to the world. Make them believe they are corrupt, hopeless, eternally in crisis. Flood their screens with poverty, porn, and war zones. Show them charity ads that make them believe that they're helpless without foreign aid.
And if that's not enough, then downplay their successes. Twist their victories into isolated incidences. If an African country develops a groundbreaking innovation, credit a foreign investor. If an African leader implements a successful policy, label it as an anomaly rather than proof of competence. You'd make sure they'd remain dependent, drown them in debt, offer loans with impossible conditions, force them to privatize everything so that foreign companies own their water, their electricity, and their land when they struggle. Give them just enough aid to keep them alive, but never enough to make them self-sufficient. Use charities to create a culture of reliance rather than resilience. Make Africans think that foreign invention is necessary and that they can't solve their own problems. Make Africans think that they always need help from outside of Africa. Suppress their military strength. Keep their armies weak and their defense industries non-existent.
Sell them weapons to fight each other, but never let them develop high-tech military technology. If a country tries to build a strong defense system, accuse them of being a threat to stability. And make sure that they always need foreign peacekeepers, foreign military bases, foreign advisors controlling their security. Keep them vulnerable to invasions, coups, and foreign interference. The formula for Africa is simple. Divide, corrupt, exploit, miseducate, control, and above all, keep them fighting each other. Keep them looking outside of Africa for solutions. Keep them poor. Make sure that every attempt to break free is met with the highest resistance, so strong that the next generation thinks twice before trying again.
This isn't a theory. This is Africa's reality. It's Africa's history. The real question isn't how to stop Africa from becoming a superpower, but it's how Africa can break the cycle, despite every effort to keep Africa down.